Most people think the Viltrumite War will be the entirety of Invincible's upcoming season. Thrag shows up, he hits Mark hits harder, the Empire goes down, the end. But that's not how this plays out. What Season 4 actually is, based on issues 66 through 78, about everything falling apart on every front simultaneously. Earth nearly gets destroyed twice before Mark leaves the planet. And the most important moment of the entire arc happens in a bathroom with a pregnancy test, but Kirkman confirmed new material is being added, so some of this will surprise even comic readers, but the main themes of what Season 4 is focused on are right here. The trailer already told you more than most people realized. Mark, in metal arm casts at a destroyed Burger Mart.
Just taking in the ambiance.
Ambiance?
Yeah.
Eve standing next to him, powers visibly glitching. The world still wrecked from the Invincible War. Issues 66 and 67 take place entirely in space, which the show compressed into the end of Season 3. Issue 68 is where the show picks up in the 4th season, months after Conquest, Earth still being put back together. Mark physically recovered enough to help with cleanup, but still wearing protective casts as he continues to heal.
Mark, take a night off.
We don't get to take a night off.
Him meeting Eve's parents for the first time, starting a business, and then Dinosaurus shows up mid-cleanup, and the casts break. That sequence is almost certainly in the first episode, the Kirkman interview from 2009 that described this stretch of the comics, with Kirkman saying that they spent issues 66 and 67 setting up a lot of what was coming, and then returned to Earth in issue 68 with a big time jump. The show has done the same thing, but here is what the show has already shown you that most people walked right past. At the 24-second mark in the trailer, Eve tells Mark her powers are changing, and she does not understand why.
Things are changing, Mark, and not for the better. Oh, God.
We'll figure this out, okay?
She is not wrong about the symptom, she is wrong about the cause. She is pregnant. In issue 68, Eve discovers a positive pregnancy test in the bathroom while Mark is on the other side of the door asking if she is okay. She tells him to go away. He leaves. She cries alone. The show has been seeding this since the trailer dropped. The entire Eve Powers subplot is the pregnancy subplot. They are the same thing. She does not tell him. That's the detail the show is going to draw out for most of the season. Eve is carrying a secret while also watching her powers deteriorate, while also watching Nolan and Alan arrive to take Mark away to a war he might not come back from. She is doing all of that alone, because she does not know how to tell him, and there is never a right moment, and then he is gone. Issue 78 ends with Mark coming home and Eve's first reaction being to cry. The show is going to earn that scene by making you understand everything they went through before it. That's the emotional center of Season 4, not the war. The pain and suffering between two people who love each other as they are pulled apart by forces beyond their control.
I thought I lost you. But now I can't stop thinking about how even through everything, you're here and okay and...
Most show-only fans are treating Dinosaurus as a villain of the week. He is not. He is the character who changes how Mark thinks about heroism for the rest of the series. His first appearance in issue 68 is exactly what the trailer showed. A massive creature attacking Mark mid-cleanup, arguing that letting the wrecked cities stay wrecked would be better for the economy, generate jobs, and rebuild communities. Mark thinks he is insane and tries to kill him. The Guardians show up and stop him. But here's the thing, the show is building toward that the trailer already confirmed. Matthew Rhys is not voicing a villain of the week. Dinosaurus, whose human identity is a physicist named David, genuinely believes that mass population reduction is the only path to long-term planetary survival. He is catastrophically wrong about his methods. He is not wrong that the world is broken in ways that punching things does not fix. What makes David interesting beyond the premise is what happens when he is in human form. He is not a ranting fanatic. He is thoughtful, soft-spoken, and genuinely distressed about losing control of the transformation. He asks Mark to help him at the end of their first fight. Like, that's not a villain move. That's a person who understands he is dangerous and wants to stop being dangerous. Mark's response in the comics evolves across the issues. He goes from trying to kill David in their first encounter to having him arrested to genuinely grappling with whether David's arguments have merit. This is season 3 Mark trying to punch his way through a problem that does not have a solution punching can reach. The show has been building this arc without announcing it. Every time the show has forced Mark to choose between doing the right thing and saving the world, it has been asking the same question Dinosaurus makes explicit. You can be the good guy, or you can be the guy who saves the world. Cecil said that in season 3,
we can be the good guys, or we can be the guys that save the world. We can't be both.
Dinosaurus is the character who makes Mark wrestle with what it means. The show is not going to let you dismiss him. And by the end of the season, you are not going to want to. Here is where the season blindsides you. In issue 68, while Mark is at dinner with Eve and her parents, Cecil panics because Conquest has escaped. The Viltrumite who nearly killed both Eve and Oliver, who Mark barely survived, has been secretly kept alive by the government.
He's in a 400-ton block of tungsten steel alloy 6 miles underground. If he so much as twitches, this whole place explodes.
He escapes containment and flies into space with a smile. The trailer confirms Conquest returns this season. In the comics, the Round 2 fight happens during the first skirmish of the Viltrumite War in issue 71. Mark, Nolan, Oliver, and Tech Jacket are ambushed by Conquest, Lucan, and another Viltrumite. The fight is brutal. Mark nearly gets disemboweled. He survives it by strangling Conquest to death. This is Mark's first confirmed kill of a named character. He did it deliberately without rage. He strangled a Viltrumite until he stopped moving and then checked to make sure. That's a line the show has been carefully building him toward crossing since season 1. Season 4 is where he crosses it.
So if anyone else ever puts my family or anyone I love at risk, I won't hesitate to kill them.
Most people watching the show forgot the sequids exist. Season 4 is going to remind you in the worst possible way. In issue 68, the sequids have been hiding in Earth's sewer systems, quietly growing their numbers since their last appearance. By issues 69 and 70, they are ready to launch a full-scale invasion of Earth's surface. Russ Livingston, the possessed astronaut who has been their host, leads the attack. The trailer confirms the sequids are back. What the trailer does not show you is how this storyline ends. Cecil tells Mark the sequid situation is hopeless. There is no way to separate the sequids from their human hosts and stop the invasion at the same time. Mark has one option: kill Russ Livingston. He has time to think about it. Cecil gives him the only available option, and Mark has a moment to consider. Then he does it. He goes home and tells Eve what he did, not because he needs to confess, but because he does not want to keep it from her. He does not present it as a victory. He presents it as something he did because it was the only option available.
When I was lying on the ground with that sound drilling into my head, the only thing I could think about was you.
That's a version of Mark the show has not shown you yet. A Mark who does something awful and then has to figure out how to live inside that. And then there is a threat from a completely different direction that arrives at the worst possible moment. Danai Gurira is voicing Universa. In the comics, she arrives in issues 69 and 70 to drain Earth's energy core, not out of malice, but out of desperation. Her world is dying. Harvesting Earth's energy is the only way she knows to save it. The sequence in the comics runs directly alongside the Sequid invasion. Mark gets called to a nuclear plant under attack by Universa before his mother can even tell him the Sequids are back. He deals with Universa first because she is the louder emergency, which means the Sequids get further into their invasion while he is occupied. That structural detail is the whole point. The show is building a world where the crises don't wait for each other. Mark can't be everywhere. Every choice about where to go first means something else gets worse.
This is my fault. So the only thing I want to do right now is hit something as hard as I can.
Universa attacking the same week as the Sequid invasion is not a coincidence in the comics. It's Kirkman showing you that Earth's defense infrastructure, even with Mark in it, has real gaps. Eve actually lands the finishing blow on Universa, one sucker punch while Mark has her distracted. It's one of the best moments in this run of issues, and the trailer seems to be building towards something similar. This is the one most show-only fans have never heard of, and it's confirmed for Season 4. Nolan's books contain the location of Space Racer, a being whose gun can do what almost nothing else in the universe reliably does: punch through Viltrumite flesh.
The Infinity Ray. It was said to emit an unstoppable energy wave that destroyed anything in its path.
In issue 67, before Nolan and Alan even return to Earth, they go out to find him. Alan is surprised he is still alive. Nolan is not. He buried him on an asteroid specifically to keep him out of play. A being who punches through planets decided the correct move with Space Racer was containment rather than combat. That detail alone tells you everything about the gun. Space Racer joins the Coalition for the Viltrumite War. His presence alongside Mark, Nolan, Oliver, Tech Jacket, Thetis, and Battle Beast is what gives the Coalition team a fighting chance against an empire that has never lost. Show-only fans are going to watch Nolan and Alan walk through the door and feel relief. But you should not feel relief. This is a recruitment. In issues 70 and 71, Nolan and Alan return to Earth together with a simple message. The war is starting. Now, Mark has to come.
I'm sorry, Mark. We need your help.
How do you feel about war?
Oliver is coming, Tech Jacket is coming, and once they leave Earth, they are not coming back until it's over. What the show has to sell is why Mark says yes. He has just killed Russ Livingston. He is watching Eve's powers collapse for reasons she is not telling him. Earth just survived 2 simultaneous alien threats. He is being asked to leave all of it and go fight an empire across the galaxy. The answer in the comics is that there is no real choice. The Viltrumite War reaches Earth whether Mark goes to fight it or not. Going means potentially ending it. Staying means waiting for it to arrive. That's not much of a choice. The Oliver dimension here is significant. Oliver has been aging at an accelerated rate across the show. He now looks like a teenager. He calls himself Young Omni-Man and has a new costume.
Get ready, because Kid Omni-Man is here!
He is going to war before he is emotionally prepared for what war actually is. The show has been building that gap between Oliver's power and Oliver's maturity very deliberately. The Viltrumite War is where it pays off. There is also the Nolan and Debbie situation to factor in. Nolan is back on Earth. Debbie has moved on with someone named Paul in the comics. Nolan, who spent millennia believing Viltrumite values and has been slowly unlearning them, is not prepared for what it means to have been gone long enough that his wife found someone else. Issue 78 has a scene between them that's one of the most quietly painful things in this run.
Is Mom's life worthless?
In the grand scheme of things, yes.
Debbie.
Nolan tells her he misses her. She pulls her hand back.
I think I miss my wife.
He says he will not lie to her again. She cries. Neither of them gets what they want from that conversation. This is the family cost the show has been building toward since season 1. Nolan chose Mark over the Empire. He did not choose fast enough or early enough to save his marriage, and now he has to figure out how to be a person in a world he was not designed for. Kirkman confirmed the war actually starts in issue 71. Season 4 is not going to resolve it. Based on the comics, Season 4 takes you to the opening of the war, not the end. The Coalition team that goes to fight is smaller than you expect. Mark, Nolan, Oliver, Tech Jacket, Thetis, Battle Beast, and Alan. That's it. No army, no massive fleet. A handful of people taking the fight directly to the Empire across issues 71 through 79. Tech Jacket is introduced this season. Zach Thompson is a human kid who bonded with an alien battlesuit that makes him a one-person army. His presence matters structurally because he is the human-scale reminder that the Empire's biggest miscalculation was assuming the species they considered beneath them were not capable of fighting back at this level.
All these humans would have died if I was not here. Viltrumite occupation would make events like this a thing of the past.
Battle Beast is confirmed too. The show has already established him as one of the most dangerous fighters alive. In the Viltrumite War, he gets to prove it at a scale the show has not shown before. A being who lives for the fight being pointed directly at an empire full of the most powerful fighters in the galaxy is exactly as consequential as it sounds.
Will there be opponents worthy of my strength? Viltrumites? How many?
What the war opener does immediately is remind you how far Mark still has to go. Conquest ambushes them in issue 71, the very first skirmish of the formal war. Mark nearly gets disemboweled. He survives because he is willing to do things that pure Viltrumite training did not prepare Conquest to defend against, and then he strangles Conquest to death. And the war has its first confirmed kill. Issue 78 is almost certainly close to where Season 4 ends. That shoe brings Mark home from the war for the first time. He walks into Eve's house. She is crying. She has visibly changed while he was gone, and she still hasn't told Mark about the pregnancy. William asks her if she has, but she doesn't know how. The show ends on that. Mark back on Earth, the war not over, Eve carrying a secret, and everything that comes next, arriving in Season 5. That ending forces the audience to sit with the same thing Mark is sitting with, but with more context. He does not know what she went through. You do, if you have been watching carefully.
I just single-handedly saved the Earth twice in the last 2 weeks.
The show has been giving you Eve's story across the season in fragments. Her powers failing, her keeping the business running, her managing a pregnancy alone while the person responsible for it's fighting a war across the galaxy. By the time Mark walks through that door, you understand exactly what that hug means to her and what it's going to take for her to say everything out loud. That's the promise Season 4 is making. It's not going to give you an easy ending. It's going to give you a real one. While all of that's happening, the Guardians are holding the line at home.
We need to show the world that even after everything that happened, the Guardians are still here, fighting to keep everyone's.
And based on the confirmed trailer footage, the show is giving this equal weight to the space storyline. The Flaxans are back. They have not appeared since the Season 1 finale, and the trailer confirms their return this season. In the comics, their attack coincides with the early Viltrumite war period, specifically issue 71, and it's not just another alien invasion. This is the encounter that changes Robot and Monster Girl's lives forever. The show has been building their relationship quietly across 3 seasons. The Flaxan encounter is where that thread lands. Robot is building during this period. Cecil is coordinating. The Guardians are stretched thin across multiple simultaneous threats with nobody at Mark's power level to anchor the team. That's the Earthside tension of the season, a defense infrastructure trying to hold together without its most important piece. Robot's arc during this period in the comics is one of the show's most interesting subplots because it runs almost entirely in the background until it's not in the background anymore. He has the new human body built from Rexplode's DNA.
Why the do you look like me? How the do you look like me?
That is a much longer story.
He is leading the Guardians. He is also quietly always planning, always building, always thinking about what comes next in a way that no one else around him is. The show has been laying those seeds since Season 2. The Viltrumite War period is when that planning starts becoming visible. Cecil is doing the same thing from a governmental position. The last thing the trailer shows you is Cecil's expression watching Mark leave. He spent 3 seasons preparing Earth's defenses against exactly this kind of threat, and now his best asset has left the planet.
Over the last 90 days, Mark's speed has increased 65%.
The billion-dollar question then, could he beat that Viltrumite woman who made us all shit our pants 3 months ago?
The show is going to spend time with what Cecil does with that, because Cecil without Mark nearby is Cecil operating without a check on his worst impulses, and that's a very different Cecil than the one we have been watching. The Darkblood arc is confirmed original content, not from the comics. Robert Kirkman personally wrote episode 4, which is where Darkblood returns. Based on what the season 3 finale set up and what Kirkman has said in interviews about things he always wanted to do in the comics, this is the Hell Trip storyline. Kirkman was asked directly if the Bruce Campbell demon character from the season 3 finale might be Satan. His response was, could be the devil. We will just have to see. When Kirkman does not deny something that pointed, he is usually nodding yes. An episode written by Kirkman himself, starring a demon detective being dragged into hell by what might be the actual devil, running parallel to an interstellar war, is exactly the tonal contrast this show does better than anyone else.
He's black and hard. will be bound to your service, Dark One.
What we do know is the structure. The Dark Blood arc runs parallel to everything else. The Earth threats, the departure, the war beginning, a demon detective operating by his own code in a world that increasingly operates outside any code at all. The show is using him to ask the same questions the main storyline is asking from a completely different angle. What do you do when the rules you were molded to live by don't fit the situation in front of you? We don't know how it connects to the main storyline. That's the 1% this breakdown can't give you. But Kirkman writing it himself means it connects. He does not write episodes because he needs the credit. He writes them because there is something in them he needed to handle personally. In issue 68, Mark and Eve have started a business, Invincible Incorporated.
A superhero on retainer. I'm the owner of a private security firm. We're called...
We see this as season 3. They contract superhero services to prisons, facilities, and clients who need powered protection. Eve negotiates the rates. Mark enforces the contract. It's a normal small business being run by two people who can punch through walls. The show is almost certainly continuing with this plot. It's the kind of grounded, real-world detail that Invincible has always done better than most superhero properties. What does it actually look like when someone with these abilities tries to build a stable life? It also sets up the emotional gut punch of the departure. Mark has just started building something, a business, a relationship, a normal life with Eve. He walks away from all of it to go fight a war he can't be sure he will survive. And when he comes back in issue 78, he comes back to find out what happened to the thing he left behind. Bulletproof covers for Mark while he is gone. Eve keeps the business running alone. Season 4 is the season where he stops trying to maintain both sides of his life and commits fully to the heroic one. When he comes back, the personal side is waiting with everything that accumulated while he was gone. Dinosaurus asks the question out loud. The Sequids demand an answer. Conquest makes it physical. Cecil watches everything from a distance and prepares for what comes next. And by the time Mark leaves Earth and the war starts, he has no good options, only less bad ones. Season 1 built a world, Season 2 broke it, Season 3 showed you Mark becoming someone who can survive in it. Season 4 is the season where surviving is no longer enough and may not even be an option. But Invincible chooses to keep going anyway. Season 4 is not the season where everything gets resolved. It's the season where you finally understand what is really at stake and what kind of person Mark is going to be from here on out. If you like this video, check out the one on screen and subscribe for more Invincible breakdown like this one. We do this every week.